Hi, I'm Catharyn Baird. Welcome to a conversation about ethics, how we live and work and move in community. The core of ethics is trust. Can you count on me to behave in a particular way in our setting so that I know you're safe? I know I'll be able to get along with you. I know that our organizations will thrive. And in that process, every organization, every community develops what's called culture, a way of behaving that we are supposed to fit into. Now, if we behave in ways that are not part of that culture, we have several strategies in community to get people back on track. One is public shaming, where we call out their behavior and say, this is not really what we expect here. And people often will respond to that because we don't want to be kicked out of community. Another check on that, if you will, is our own sense of who we are as people in community. How do we want to behave? And for those of us who are working to find ways to bring our best ethical self into the conversation, that involves some soul searching about, did I in fact behave in a way that's appropriate? The rub comes, however, when we take a look at power. One of the things we have seen in the past several years, I would suggest, is that those with power feel less constrained by the norms the rest of us live into. They are able to get away with things that we can't because they are the ones who, in a very real sense, determine who's going to be shamed and who's going to be excluded. So what happens for those of us who are not in positions of power is we have to make a decision about when we will go against the norms, when we will push the edges, if you will, and when we won't. An example of that in my own life was I was at a meeting in my church, and the leader of the meeting brought forward some ideas about leadership with which I disagreed. And I made a very public announcement that she was not correct. On reflection, that was an inappropriate push. I did not need to be flouting how much I knew or didn't know. I needed to be working with the community in order to build a sense of camaraderie to further the mission of the group. In another time, though, I got into a fuss about how we should handle COVID. And I got told that I was being unsocial and I didn't work well with the group. And yet the truth of what I said was accurate. We were discriminating against people who were either vaccinated or not vaccinated. We were not living into the values that we held as a group. And so holding people accountable for that was a really important strategy. So as we think about how we are going to fit into our groups, going through the discernment process of when do I need to edit myself, when do I need to self-censor, if you will, in order to fit with the greater good and help this organization thrive, and when do I have to speak up to hold people accountable for living into what we say are our highest values, what we say is what we count on. And that act of ethical discernment requires thoughtfulness, honesty, and courage. I wish you the best in figuring out for yourself what those boundaries are. Thank you.